trying to scare the cats up.
I say if they're watching that on YouTube, they probably aren't now. I'm like, whoa, that was enough. Make it stop. Okay.
Check. Sorry. We're going to reconvene at 10:23. We are on agenda item 23. We're in the middle of the first interview with Judge Gil Jones. Is that what you want? Is that my turn? No, sorry, I'm not done yet. I will say that if YouTube malfunctions again, I'm not going to disrupt the process again. I apologize. I don't know what else to say. Except, what is that, Murphy's Law, I think?
Technology is fickle.
Technology. It's stressful. Okay, I am not going to ask all these if you'll bear with me 1 second. So this one, and again, I'm going to ask all questions to all candidates, just so you know. Would you be willing to forego all of the judicial duties to focus on the administrative side of the county judge position, if that's what was best for the county?
I would be willing to. I have already had discussions with Judge Henson about that. We would talk about the best allocation of those duties. I have a unique background and a unique skill set in that regard. He has an extremely busy court. There are occasions that I could help his court. It's not just a matter of uncontested probates or uncontested guardianships. I can hear contested matters. I can hear things that he can take off of his docket. He and I will work that out as the two people involved in that process.
Okay. In the last 2 to 3 years, what's the biggest challenge you've seen, in your opinion, with Burnett County?
A perception of lack of integrity, lack of civility, lack of transparency. The problems on the ground are kind of usual. They exist in every county. Keeping the county infrastructure working, keeping the employees happy, keeping the roads in good shape. Those are mechanical kinds of things. But the perception of this county, Channel 36 was mentioned. It's not the only channel. But we have to stop that. The biggest problem to be solved is exactly that. And I believe I'm the statesman to do that.
Are you running for the position in March 2026 primary?
Ask my wife.
That's my.
The answer is no.
Do you feel the process has been fair? What part would you have changed if you had a decision?
It's been fair. It's been totally transparent as far as I know. And I appreciate you all putting that together and giving us this opportunity to do this in this manner.
What part of this position are you looking forward to?
The challenges, the opportunity to dig into those challenges. I'm inherently a planner, a fixer. You've seen on my push card, peacemaker. I think all of those are challenges. I think the ability to work with this court. I respect every one of you. I've known some of you a good while, not all of you. And I look forward to developing that kind of personal relationship where we are doing things, we are planning things, we are recognizing the problems and moving those forward. I am happy to take on the challenge of helping lead that, but it's a 5-person operation when all is said and done.
Okay. What part of this position are you not looking forward to?
I can't think of anything that I would not look forward to.
Is there anything that hasn't been asked in the forum or today so far that you want to discuss?
Yes. I have some specific ideas of some things that I would tend to focus on. I've already talked about integrity, civility, and transparency. As far as specific plans, I've already mentioned the more granular way of looking at the budget and developing that. I've talked about the workshops. I think that's an important process. There's been discussion of 5 and 10-year strategic plans. I believe in that. But as I talked about in the public forum, I think in addition to those specific plans, you have to have a different horizon. I talked about a 25-year horizon. If you're thinking in a mindset of we need to really understand that we'll be somewhere in 25 years that we are not to yet, and we need to understand that you can't do that all at one time, you have to do it in 5-year and perhaps 10-year chunks, that obviously you revisit periodically every couple of 2 or 3 years. But if you're just looking 5 and 10 years ahead, I frankly don't think that's far enough. You can't plan for 25 years, but you can be thinking in those terms. And with what we have coming at us from Travis and Williamson County, coming south from Bexar County and Blanco, as I quipped during the forum, have you driven to San Antonio lately? It's coming north, it's coming after us. We're being surrounded on 3 sides, and we have to plan for that. And part of that planning has to be the county with the cities. Part of that has to be this county with the counties to our south and west. I think we need to have a broader look, a more regional look. An immediate thing that I intend to be looking at is our hazard mitigation plan. The county has a very extensive hazard mitigation plan. It includes, as you might guess, a wildfire mitigation. I attended the seminar on Saturday from the Texas Forest Service about that. I have a lot of focus on that because of what's happened in Spicewood in the past, Bastrop, and of course we're watching California burn to the ground. We have some severe problems in that regard in this county, and it involves the county and the cities that have to get on top of that. So that's going to be one of the things right out of the chute that I think we need to be engaged in. I'm concerned about the employees. I'm concerned that we keep not only a good compensation plan, but one that is always based in merit, one that takes into account all of the policies, making sure that all policies are followed. Wirtz Dam Road, or the not quite yet Memorial Joe Don Dockery Road, as some people call it, needs some immediate attention. I understand that that is dragging somewhat due to the lack of a judge, and I'm going to see what I can do along with you all and Commissioner Dockery, who has been in charge of the oversight of that, in order to get that back on a better track. A big public concern I have about Texas overall and Burnett County in particular is the lack of public space. I think we need more of it. I think we need ways for citizens to enjoy this beautiful country that we have. And with 97% of the property in Texas being privately owned, that's difficult to do. That's it. Thank you.
Okay. I'm good. Jeff?
Good. If appointed Burnett County judge, would you adhere to all Burnett County policies included, but not limiting, to hiring, leave, and compensation?
Yes.
What is the purpose of the fund balance? What is your vision for the Burnett County fund balance, and what strategies do you have for management of the same?
The fund balance, which fortunately is very healthy in Burnett County right now, is what a lot of people might call a rainy day fund. It's there for filling the gap when revenues might fall short. We have what some experts would call a little bit of extra. I wouldn't call it excess, but extra in the current fund balance. I think there are some good things that can be done with that. One would be managing some of the debt, getting some debt reduction. Another might be in terms of a 5-year plan. I would like to work with each of the commissioners in your precincts to develop at least a 5-year plan for your roads, not just maintenance, but new construction. Try to figure out where the growth is coming, and I suspect there would be some considerable capital expenditures there that could be very well used with some of the fund balance. All in all, I think that the management of that fund balance has to be in terms of the strategic planning, because you don't want to just zap it all at once for immediate needs without having an idea of where you're going down the road.
Okay. Any further questions you guys have? If not, we'll do a closing. If you have anything else you want to add?
Those comments I gave about my immediate visions, I think, would be my best closing. I look forward to the opportunity to possibly serve the county, as I have done for a number of years, and to work with you four and all of the department heads and employees in the county to have a period of happiness and prosperity for the county. Thank you.
Thank you. In the event that you are stepping out, could you ask Chief Trevino to come in?
I'll be happy.
Any complaints come in? On the stream, we're good? Anybody hear?
The volume, how do you turn it on?
On his?
Yeah.
It should be all the way up, but I'll turn it up. Good morning.
Good morning.
We'll do the same. We'll allow an opening, and then we're going to go through our questions, and then a closing.
Sure. One, I want to thank you for the openness of the entire process. And I believe early on there was a discussion about community input and asking for community to call, email, and I'm sure several of y'all received those in support of myself. And then there's also 283 signatures on a petition of Barnett County residents that are asking for me to be appointed into this position. And that's my opening statement.
Great. Let Joe Don go first.
Chief, coming from the Sheriff's Office, talking about budget, do you feel like that you would have the ability to fairly and equitably administer the budget across the Barnett County? I mean, we obviously have more than the Sheriff's Department to take care of. We have many departments. Do you feel like you can equitably do that?
Yes, sir. The Sheriff's Department will not be treated specially, but they will be treated fairly. And I think that's somewhat a change of what we've experienced over the last few years. And then in addition to that, while the Sheriff's Office is the largest department, when you're talking funds and you're talking equipment, the number two question that I received when visiting with the public was roadway and public safety. And those two being the key issues, public safety, we need to make sure that we have a well-funded law enforcement, not just Sheriff's Office, but constables' offices, all those that perform a law enforcement activity in Barnett County.
What is going to be your the budget process? How are you going to go about that as budget season approaches?
Sure. The first thing I would do is I mentioned in the first 60 days, invite all elected officials, department heads, to meet, and so that we have a clear understanding of what their needs are, what their requests are from an equipment standpoint, what if there's any payroll or additional staffing that they're looking for, so that early on we have tried to identify areas that we may need to fund, and in doing that, also with the group of a commissioners court, discuss and try to come up with a fair way to equally divide the 8 departments that fall under the Commissioners Court. And part of that is, and I'm just going to say one library in particular, if Commissioner Byerly became the commissioner appointed over the library, have a second meeting after having met with that particular entity, where they then come in with Commissioner Byerly, myself, the auditor, and we discuss budget on what direction, and Commissioner Byerly is an advocate for the library, and the same would be for any of the other 7 that each of you would be responsible for as an advocate for those departments. That would be the first thing, and then the second part of it would be to start having, as early as possible, having open workshops in Commissioners Court, where we call and we have a group and give them the opportunity to present their budget in live time, real time. We've already discussed it with one particular commissioner, and now we're discussing it in an open court on what their needs are, and actually be able to try to project what of their budget we would be able to fund. Some of them may be easier than others with minimal requests, and others will be obviously larger.
Thank you.
First one, why do you want to be county judge?
I want to make a difference in my community. I've made a difference. I've been active in every community I've been involved in. In my adult life, Austin, I lived in Austin for 35 years, and have lived here for almost 6 years, and got busy as soon as I got here. I'm involved in many charities. I'm involved with, once I came onto the sheriff's office, I visit with everybody in the county, with departments. Mentioned this the other day, that when I go visit the auditor's office, it's not just to go visit the auditor's office, it's to go back and visit the HR department, and to go visit the treasurers, and when I come to this building, to come talk to the county attorney's office. I make my rounds around the courthouse in an attempt to continue to foster relationships with elected officials and department heads. And I believe wholeheartedly that in 22 months, I will demonstrate my ability to make a difference in Barnett County, and that's my goal. This is where I chose to live. We looked for a long time and found our place here, and this is home.
Would you forego all judicial duties to focus on the administrative side of the county judge position if it was to the benefit of the county?
If it was to the benefit of the county, yes. But I also want to caveat on that is, initially, I feel that we need the person that gets appointed to this position needs to be able to address the other concerns of the county. And we currently have an ability to allow that with Judge Henson, who is very capable of handling that. And as the years continue, whether that becomes a burden, and then also take the steps to be able, the necessary steps that I would need to as the county judge to be able to hear uncontested probate.
Okay. In the last 2 to 3 years, what's the biggest challenge you've seen with Burnett County?
From a county standpoint, as an employed, budget has been an issue. It will continue to be an issue. Other issues would be water. It comes up in many conversations, and it is certainly a huge issue that we are facing, and growth is coming this way, and the ability to manage development as it comes into Barnett County. And how that fits with water, and also fits with infrastructure for roads and the ability to continue to take on more traffic from Williamson County and from Travis County, and to have a plan moving forward to address those issues, and not just a 5, 10, 15, but 20. We need to have meetings, yesterday on our infrastructure, and our infrastructure being the roads and the water primarily, but with all the stakeholders, so that we start meeting today, so that we can start planning for tomorrow and start planning, building out the 2 and the 4 and the 10 and the 15 and the 20-year plan with TxDOT. As I mentioned at the forum, I was surprised that we do not have a plan, a highway plan through TxDOT, and I asked the engineer. And we do not, what are we going to be doing in 24 years, which is their longest projection? What are we going to be doing with roadways in 24 years? We're not even on their 24-year plan. So we need to address it now, and we need to invite all stakeholders to be able to have a say on how Barnett County progresses.
Are you running for the position in the March 2026 primary?
Yes, I am. Happy to be doing it.
Do you feel this process has been fair, and what part would you have changed if you had a decision in it?
I think it ran extremely fair. I think the commissioners laid out a plan. The plan was publicized. It was went out to everybody involved, and as the process continued, there was a need for change to go from 1 forum to 2 forums. That change was made, and so it was flexible, and the forum was well put on by the county, and the process that we're sitting here today is y'all have done an exceptional job on making it fair and making sure that the public has the ability to be heard.
What part of the position are you looking forward to?
Budget.
What part of the position are you not looking forward to?
Budget. I am looking forward to working with the budget. I believe that I've got the ability to make some changes there from a broad spectrum, from using all members of the court to be more involved with the everyday, from the budget from day one until the day that we sign the budget, and you have equal share. You're representing your constituency, and have the responsibility of them to look after the best interest of your particular precincts. And I am very excited about getting involved there. I don't know that there is anything that I'm not excited about.
Last one from me. Anything that hasn't been asked in the forum or possibly so far today that you would like to discuss?
I think everything, all the questions have have been very thorough.
If appointed Burnett County Judge, would you adhere to all Burnett County policies, including but not limited to hiring, leave, and compensation?
Yes, and I do believe that we need to make some changes, and we've got a holiday committee, if you will, that we need to discuss moving forward. And this is specifically addressing the Sheriff's Department. We are in a position where we are getting at a crucial state, and these meetings need to begin so that we can stop the bleeding, and it doesn't have to be a one-year plan. If we put a cap on how much holiday time can be allowed in year one, and it be a progressive in year two, instead of being 200 hours, it then is 150 hours, and in year three is 100 hours. But in having a committee and have the say-so of the Commissioners Court on how that gets developed. And quite frankly, we also need to address when we lose an employee that by termination and or by resigning, that we need to have a system in place that they earn that time. They should be able to take that time, whether it's added to, and I don't know how we make that happen, but that's the purpose for the committee.
What is the purpose of the fund balance? What is your vision for Burnett County fund balance, and what strategies do you have for management of the same?
Well, I believe the fund balance has gotten to a point where it's while it may not be ideal, it is definitely at a point that's acceptable, and I think we have to look at ways that we are able to capitalize on it, on using the funds from the fund balance for items that we need to be able to fund without going into debt, going into further debt, and looking at ideas that potentially we borrow from ourselves. And seeing what that looks like and what the legal ability to do that. I'm being told that we can, I'm being told that we can't, but I would like to explore the ability to borrow from Barnett County to help fund without, and not go into further debt.
And now, do you have anything as a closing?
Am I allowed to read?
As long as it's not electronic.
It is not electronic. One of my opposition as a key supporter is so dead set on appointing a judge that comes from a family with generations in Barnett County or was born and raised here or spent half their life here. Let's remember the last judge they supported got us into this mess. And as key supporters, and as his key supporter was advocating to have the citizens of Barnett County reimburse his legal fees, look how that worked out. My family hasn't been here for 7 generations. I haven't spent half my life here, but I have made a tremendous difference in 6 years I have been here. And I can make a tremendous difference if appointed as county judge. Barnett County is my home and where I chose to live. I have made a difference in the numerous charities I am involved with here in Barnett County, like the 100 Club of Central Texas, the 100 Club, Hill Country 100 Club, the Phoenix Center, Project 316, Casa Boots and Barbecue, the Children's Advocacy Center, Rifles, Racks, and Deer Tracks, Purse Bingo, the YMCA of the Highland Lakes, Barnett CISD Education Foundation, and my wife and I, my company is the title sponsor for the Hill Country Humane Society and has been for the last 3 years. And I understand why they want me to be considered for appointment after I have already announced I'm running in 2026, because they know we will be successful in 22 months with me as county judge. Just look at the successes and the differences we have made with the sheriff's office. We have had great success. In just 2.5 years, we now have a robust drone program. We have progressed the fingerprint system to 100% live scan, meaning there's no rolled, we're getting to a point where we have no rolled prints. We have resurrected an awards program and recognized officers doing an exemplary job. We have totally revamped the new officer training process at the jail with a tremendous success rate. And we have drastically increased revenue on out-of-county beds. We automated the patrol FTO program, and we doubled our supervision by introducing corporals to patrol. We do not need a placekeeper for the next 22 months. We need someone that is experienced in Barnett County government and has a plan to move the county forward. Give me your vote to be your next county judge, and I will commit to you that I will serve with honesty and integrity with you and with all the county departments and the citizens of Barnett County. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you. On your way out, can you ask Mr. Wilson to come in?
Can I take my water?
You can. Yeah, I'm gonna double check we double check the batteries that cut out a couple times.
This is the only copy. You want these?
I just heard it cut out. Okay. Just don't want it to mess up.
Just a quick question. We're allowed to stay in as the others are.
I'm just trying to make sure nobody steals my answers.
Good morning. Is it still morning? It is. Okay, so we're going to start with an opening, and then we'll start with our questions, and then a closing.
Thank you for taking my application and considering me for this position. I think I'm the best qualified. You want me to move this?
A little bit closer.
Okay. I think I'm the most qualified. I've worked with counties all over the state. I've worked in county government most of my career, or with county, either with county, directly with county government. I was just thinking as I was waiting in there on the wings about the time and effort that it's going to take for these 2 years and possibly beyond. When Holly and I first got married and I moved up here from Bastrop County 14 years ago, and I started leaving the house at 4 o'clock in the morning and not getting home till 8 or 9 o'clock because I had meetings with the McLennan County Sheriff and then the Corsicana Sheriff and Limestone County, and get to a meeting in Dallas and then work my way back down through Hill County and other places. So that's the kind of person I am. And all those folks, believe it or not, were glad to see me because that meant that they were doing well, they'd gotten money from our program, and I was there to make sure their success. And that's the kind of person I am. And so anyway, I look forward to answering your questions.
Commissioner Dockery.
As far as regarding budget, do you feel like that you could administer the budget equitably across all departments?
Absolutely, with a caveat. How's this? Everybody, the whole room goes, ah. So when I was looking over the budget, and I've been studying it over the last several weeks, and I've looked at it before in past years, but not with as much interest. To me, the deficit is in the current budget process that I'd certainly be willing to talk to you about is considering performance-based budgeting. Is that the citizens deserve to know that when the money gets spent, that it's actually accomplishing what they intended to do. Like a guy in church the other day told me, he says, I don't mind paying my taxes. I just want to see if I get my money's worth. And he said, that's what's important to me. That's what I care about. And so equitably, as long as the equity includes that the money being spent shows a benefit to the people who are paying for that money. And that's my only caveat.
With budget season approaching, what is going to be your process for this budget process?
Yeah, I laid that out at the forum the other day. The number one thing that I'm going to do is conduct a public safety review, hopefully with you, work with the commissioners, the sheriff, the constables, the ESDs. I've been reading the reports from the ESDs, and again, you know, my background is in scientific management. What I applied through probation. When I was 18 years old and mowing lawns, I measured my lawns and I saw how long it would take, and I've applied that my whole life. And so we need to have, with a public safety review, that's over 50% or right around 50% of the budget. We need to make sure that the money being spent there, I'll work with you, I'll work with the other elected officials and department heads to make sure that first we address, are we covering what's really required? Are we planning for safety? Are we planning for disaster? And making sure that we're ready if it comes. And then that way we can fold into the immediate in the budget review process. And I'll work with you on developing, working with the department heads on having some sort of performance base for each and every department. You know, if it's IT, it's how many hours were systems down. If it was in the statewide system, I ran law enforcement programs for the last 8 years, and people told me you couldn't do it. I actually ended up writing the standards for International Association of Auto Theft Investigators, and I served on the International Chief of Police Performance Measure group to write performance measures. But police officers need to deliver a benefit to the county, a measurable sheriff's deputies, just like all the other departments. We can do this, and that's my priority regarding the budget, is working together and meeting the statutory deadlines.
First for me is, why do you want to be county judge?
So the number one reason that I want to be county judge is when this opening came available, I've always known and I've always practiced my gift for county, state, and local administration. It's been something that when this opportunity came up, I prayed about it with my friends at church, and then I felt that that there's an opportunity to use the gift that I've been given in my own in my own home. I've used it all over the state and internationally, but I've never had the opportunity anywhere I've lived, because in some jurisdictions where I work, the judges told me, "Cool it, Brian. You know, don't get involved in politics. Don't do anything." And I worked for the district judges and county judges, so that's what I obeyed. But and then at the statewide level, quite honestly, being in 15, 20 counties a month, it was just about impossible to do anything locally. But I've been retired for 2 years, and I really want to use my gift to serve this Commissioner's Court and my people and where I live.
Okay. Would you forego all judicial duties to focus on the administrative side of the county judge position if that's what was going to benefit the county?
Absolutely. There's, you know, I would first take the pulse of the judges, that, you know, what the need is, and I'd certainly submit that in discussions with the Commissioner's Court in open meeting, that what the best benefit was. If they need help, then the reason that this constitutional county position is authorized to do that is because it's to be a pressure relief valve. Once this Commissioner's Court, and sorry, I've worked in the judiciary much of my life, but basically when the statutory county court is created, or what we call the court at law locally, that is intended to be the court of record from that point forward. But the reason the law still gives constitutional county judges the authority to do some of the casework is because it's a pressure relief valve. My commitment in the first 100 days is to do the county's business, but I'll work and communicate with where the pressure is and what needs to be done.
Are you running for this position in the March 2026 primary?
I can't say that. I've never been a presumptive person. I just this situation is for here and now. My wife and I, we prayed about it, we thought about it, we talked about it. My kids back here and some of my other kids, they're not here today. But it's a family decision. I will consider it. But number one is, you know, if people don't like performance-based budgeting, or if you guys don't like what I propose, then no, I wouldn't. Of course I wouldn't run. But if we were able to do some strategic objectives, we were able to get a budget that speaks to the people and serves the people in a meaningful way. That's what I do. Meaningful, spend money in a meaningful way. And if the people are happy with that, then in December I'll make that call.
Do you feel this process has been fair? And what part would you have changed if you had a decision in it?
Yes, I think it's been very fair. I think it's an honest, open process. I appreciate the input that people gave, but I think in my case, I held to my integrity. I talked to a few friends at church, but I didn't try to campaign. I talked to each one of you at some point early on, but I've held my integrity. I didn't try to campaign or work the crowds or whatever. I'm here. I have a gift, and I'm submitting it to you as a fellow citizen, as someone who's here to serve you.
What part of this position are you looking forward to?
I really am excited about the budget. I've been reading through that budget, and I just keep thinking about how we document that we spent money, but we don't really document what good we do. And I'm excited about that process. I'm excited that people will be informed how many contacts or just different. I know, Chief Trevino has been given some update reports, but I think it needs to be tied to the budget. It's not that I don't believe that people are not keeping records. It's just not, here's how much we're going to spend and here's the benefit. And then together as a group, working together with you is to identify, is that really a meaningful, just how many calls did I take, or is there something more meaningful? Just a quick example, when I took over the Motor Vehicle Theft Prevention Authority, we had 236 officers, and the standard was arrest. Okay, does that sound like something you want to measure for officers? Sounds good. One county, a very large county to the east that remain unnamed, was counting an arrest every time that they issued a warrant and somebody else in another part of the state arrested them. But then a lot of the rural counties, like Burnett, was only counting the physical bodies that they took into custody. Is that fair? But I'll tell you right now, it's not. But what I did was I looked at it, met with the officers. We carefully identified that the most effective thing was actually how many cases were presented to the prosecutor. Because only a police officer, only a sheriff's deputy can physically file an information or information that goes to an indictment. And that was a much better, all of a sudden we had really clear records about how the money was being spent and the number per officer.
Okay. What part of this position are you not looking forward to?
I don't know that there's anything in particular. I'm not the most glad-handed person. I've always been a little bit of a technocrat instead of a bureaucrat. I appreciate Mr. Klingman's comment. I'm not the most comfortable just being out in the public, but I will go to Naruna and I will have coffee and Granite Shoals and everywhere else. So I like people, but I get overwhelmed sometimes in crowds.
Okay. Last one for me. Anything that hasn't been discussed in the forum from Thursday or today that you would like to discuss?
No, I think I've laid it on the table with my performance-based budgeting concept. Hopefully that'll show you what I need. But I appreciate the opportunity. I do have a closing statement after more questions. So.
If appointed Burnett County Judge, would you adhere to all Burnett County policies, including but not limited to hiring, leave, and compensation?
Absolutely. Of course, started my career in the state government at the prison system, and there's nobody more rigorous about following policy and having sanctions for not following policy. But then as I moved through other agencies, I was very effective in using the HR policies, always following. I never, if anybody that's worked for me over the years knows that I don't, if it's performance evaluation time at a year, I might be a week late because if something's going on, but I've never missed a performance evaluation. I've never violated any compensation or given favoritism of any sort. It was either based on the performance evaluation or not at all. So yes, I would stick to those policies, and then I would help work. If I identified, because I spent so many years dealing with HR in the prison and other places, if I find that there's a defect or something that needs to be addressed, I'd bring it back to the commissioners for consideration of change.
What is the purpose of the fund balance? What is your vision for Burnett County fund balance, and what strategies do you have for management of the same?
Well, the fund balance is a critical component of the budget to make sure that in the worst case scenario, I remember over the years when dealing with people that I've dealt with in both government and official capacities, the older people that were alive during the Depression, when all of a sudden they saw their entire city, or I worked with a college president for many years, and just you can see there's things happen that you just can't foresee. Economic downturns beyond. There's obviously we've seen recently in California with the Palisades fire. The fund balance is there to protect the county. Now, who has the magic, clear ball that says exactly? Excuse me. that has exactly what that amount is. That's where God-given discretion and consideration and measuring the potential. I was the manager of the risk, or I dealt with all the risk management in the prison system for years, submitting, assessing all the lawsuits, both employee lawsuits, inmate lawsuits, as well as other different, very difficult. We had settlements where that somebody would destroy a property that we would have to either recover but all that went into my, it's called the State Office of Risk Management, my report to the SORM. And that's what we have to do. We have to have a clear assessment of risk management and then decide what to do, what the value of the fund balance should be, and then where we should be able to use that to reduce our debt load or augment existing services or capital improvements for a lot of that. But we have to manage it. And we need to pay down debt, but we need to balance it.
Okay, closing statement?
Sure. I appreciate the opportunity to be included in this process, the opportunity to apply. I've traveled all over and seen lots of different county methods to do it when they've replaced judges. And this was, I would say, this is the most fair and open that I've ever seen in all my county travels. And I have the utmost respect for how it's been conducted. Every commissioner here, in my opinion, has upheld your peace and your integrity before the public. And I really appreciate that. I've seen a lot of wild things in 254 counties, and I appreciate that very much. I have a gift for helping counties across Texas have cost-effective and measurable government programs. My experience includes helping counties overcome very difficult situations, to get compliance, to return funds. I can't tell you how many times the courts, the Office of Court Administration sent me out just because I was the most effective person to have and had enough gravitas to deal with clerks and people way outside of my job description, but they knew I was faithful to my county constituents and they knew I was faithful to the courts. I always use respect, valor, courage, and honor in every one of these situations in dealing with these counties. I want to use this gift in my home, in my county. I have respect for both these candidates, but I'm the only one that's without competing interest who has committed the time to be an effective judge for this county. I spoke to each of you and I watched how you handled yourself, individually and as a group. I recognize that you want to stand, that I recognize that I would like to stand shoulder to shoulder with you to move Burnett County forward. We need to make our Burnett County government more transparent, more effective, more responsive, and I humbly ask for your vote as Burnett County Judge.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Okay. Okay.
Go into executive session.
You want to open this, and then there's one under this.
Whatever you want to do, sir.
Okay. We can always go back if I don't. But we're going to go ahead and open 24, discussion, interaction, and selecting the Burnett County Judge by the majority vote of the Burnett County Commissioners Court. There is also A, under this item, the Burnett County Commissioners Court may go into executive session as authorized under 551.071 of the Texas Government Code, attorney consultation, in order to consult with legal counsel regarding law on the selection of an official by a Commissioners Court. Is there any request to go into executive session?
Yes, sir. I'd like to go. Yes, sir.
We're good to go into executive session?
Go on to legal consultation.
Yes, sir.
Personnel. Deliberate.
There's two choices.
All right, you can go first.
We're going to go under legal, say it again.
Under the legal consultation and both personnel consultation, which is 55107.4.
Okay. We're going to go into executive session under 551.071, attorney consultation, and also 551.074, personnel matters. We're going to take a break while we go into executive session at 11:12. Those are important.
Only if you want to see the words.
We're going to reconvene into open session at 11:53. I don't know if you have to hit that every time, sorry if I'm not supposed to. But, okay. I'll open agenda item 24, discussion and/or action in seeking the Burnett County Judge by the majority vote of the Burnett County Commissioners Court. Gentlemen, is there any questions, comments, or motions?
Commissioner, I would just say that when we started this process, we outlined how we wanted to receive information from the public that has been involved, in my case, is overwhelmingly in support of Gil Jones. My emails are 89-14. So I'm just going to add that comment to the mix and do with it what you will. I know that as involved as everybody is that's in this court today, and I sincerely appreciate everyone being here, but I talk to everybody and I talk to people in the public every day, and they don't even know we don't have a judge. I mean, much less that, what's going on. So this is going to be a struggle for us to try to come to a conclusion that everybody can get to.
I'll say that it's been a tough decision for sure. I guess when you kind of want 3 applicants, you hope somebody kind of falls out on their own. The 3 guys are impeccable in every way. So I think that's where the difficulty comes in with trying to appoint just one guy. And I firmly believe that no matter which one gets picked, it's going to be great. The county's going to win no matter what. So, with that, mine have been, about 50-50 across the board. So I guess that's why it's harder for mine, trying to differentiate which one of these gentlemen is be the best.
I'd like to say also that we have 3 really good men vying for a position that we need filled. I've had lots of emails and they come through, and that was the way we laid it out, as Commissioner Dockery said. I've had people from both sides, I've had people from all 3 sides come to me with their reasons not. Different things, all that. I have said that I'm going to keep an open mind in who the next county judge would be for me. And I'm going to reiterate that all 3 would be a great choice, perhaps if you get in the weeds for different reasons. So more prayer than you can imagine has gone into this for me, and I've been waiting for a clear answer, and honestly, I can't tell you that it's just crystal. And I know Jesus isn't a genie, and so I can't wish for it to be clear. But I concur, this is a little bit harder than I envisioned it to be a month ago when we laid out the process. I can admit that.
So we're here tasked with choosing a judge. And if you add up everything that we received in emails, somebody have to do the math, it's way less than 1% that we are choosing for 50,000 people. So just keep that in mind. And with that, when we couldn't lift the burn ban, I received probably 15, 20, 30, whatever it was, a lot of calls because everybody wanted to burn. 90% of those folks didn't even know we didn't have a county judge. It's amazing with what has transpired in the last year and a half, 2 years, 3 years. Folks don't know. They have no idea that we don't have a county judge. You know, a lot of them don't even know that we're county commissioners. So we're tasked with choosing a person, and that's what we're facing. I think it should be up to the folks of Burnett County, but here we are. Half of the folks are going to like it, half of them aren't. There's no getting around that. It's the best choice for Burnett County. And God bless all of you and all of us with this decision.
For those of you on YouTube, it's still working.
Does one of us just make a motion, or?
Is there any questions, comments, or motions? I guess. So what to say?
I guess I'll be the first. I'll make a motion to appoint Alan Trevino as county judge.
Second?
Damon did.
Any more discussion? Questions, comments?
I would ask for a roll call vote.
Yes, sir. Roll call vote. Commissioner Luther.
No.
Commissioner Byerly. Aye. Commissioner Collier.
Aye.
Commissioner Dockery.
Nay.
Is there any other questions, comments, or motions? 1 second. Motion failed to pass for lack of a majority.
I would make a motion that we appoint Gil Jones as county judge.
Second.
More questions, comments? We'll do a roll call vote again. Commissioner Luther?
Yes?
Commissioner Byerly? No.
Commissioner Collier, no.
Commissioner Dockery, yes.
Motion fails for lack of a majority. I can go back to that agenda item, but for discussion, I would like to open agenda item 25. Is that okay? In the event of a failure to obtain a majority vote for the appointment, the Burnett County Commissioners Court may conduct further discussion and take action to modify the selection process previously outlined by the Burnett County Commissioners Court. Is there any, do we want to have a discussion on what that would look like if this holds? Or do we want to go back into executive session?
Go back into executive session.
Commissioner Dockery?
It's up to you, sir.
Okay. We can reopen any agenda item when we come back, but I would like to go back into executive session under attorney consultation for item 25. It is 12:05. We're going into executive session once again. think so.
Is our streaming back on?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We are going to reconvene at 12:30 out of executive session. It's important. Okay. So, open 25. We're going to open back up agenda item 25. In the event of a failure to obtain a majority vote for the appointment, the Burnett County Commissioners Court may conduct further discussions and take action to modify the selection process previously outlined by the Burnett County Commissioners Court. And after that executive session was for legal advice. So we discussed our options, and we are going to discuss this at a future meeting. And with that, I adjourn this meeting.